Hi, I'm Kristen, certified financial planner and founder of the financial planning firm Brooklyn Plans. I'm very excited to be here with you the month of April with a financial literacy month exclusive financial wellness tips for uncertain times. And this content is sponsored by DailyPay. They're a pay experience company. They help employees control the timing of their pay, monitor their earnings, and build savings. Check them out at dailypay.com. They are offering free next day transfers to their users because of everything that's going on with the economic fallout today. So this first edition is everything you need to know about stimulus checks. You've probably heard that the IRS is sending a check to you because of what was passed called the CARES Act, and families and individuals will be receiving some hard-earned and very badly needed cash from the IRS, which is a rare occurrence. We don't usually get gifts from the IRS, but hey, we'll take it. So we're going to break down for you what it is, how it's determined, and what the expected timing is right now, because these are the questions that most people have. We've heard we're getting some money. We haven't seen it yet. What's going on? When is it happening? We're going to go over some FAQs and wrap up with some pro tips of how you can use those funds for your benefit during these times. And then we'll let you know what else we have coming down for you in terms of content to help you navigate the landscape as things are changing very rapidly. And we want to make sure that you have everything you need to know to take advantage of the financial opportunities that are available out there for those of you that need them. So let's get started. What is the economic impact payment? It is going out to American workers based on income levels. And the big question is how much? You may have heard that single people will be receiving $1,200. That number is being thrown around a lot, $1,200 per person. That's kind of the simplified version. We'll explain a little bit. But if you earn $75,000 or less and have no kids, you are eligible to get a check or direct deposit for $1,200. If you are a head of household, meaning that's how you filed your taxes, and you earned $112,500 or less with one kid, you would get $1,700. That is because you are also eligible to receive a $500 payment per child under the age of 17. If you are married earning $150,000 or less and you have two kids, then you would be eligible to get $3,400 because each party qualifies for the $1,200 number, plus you have two kids, so that's $3,400 altogether. And last, if you're married earning $150,000 or less, no kids, you would get $2,400, $1,200 per person. There are phase outs for these checks, so that doesn't mean if you earned over that amount that you're not going to get it, but they phase out between $75,500 and $99,000 from $1,200 to zero, and for married couples from $150,000 to $198,000, it goes from $2,400 to zero. And that's a sliding scale. Between those numbers, you could still qualify for something, but not the full amount of the check. And above those numbers, you're not going to get anything, unfortunately. How is it determined? So we're saying income. Well, what number are we using? So technically, it's a tax credit for 2020. Being advanced this year because of everything that's going on, a lot of people are going to need help this year. So it's a bit of an unusual situation because you're getting kind of a refund or a credit that you would normally get when you file taxes, but you're getting it in advance. It is based on your 2019 tax return or 2018 if you haven't filed. 2019 tax return deadline has been extended to July. Lots of people haven't filed for it because you don't have to. So that would be based then on 2018, the most recent tax return the IRS has on file. It's based on a technical term, adjusted gross income. If you're not sure, if you're feeling like you're somewhere in this gray area where you might qualify, you might not, and you want to check, you can check line 8B on your 2019 tax return. Or if you didn't file, then you can check line 7 on your 2018 return. And that will tell you the exact number that the IRS is going to be using to determine your income levels for you, or if you're married, you and your partner. When and how are you going to get it? Let's talk logistics. When is a little bit of an open question. Look, these things are changing very rapidly. I'll be honest, the IRS is not really equipped to be nimble and fast. So here's what we know, and here's what our best guess is at this point from what's been made available, both publicly and kind of leaked to the press from internal memos. The best, most recent understanding that we have is that the week of April 13th, next week, 60 million payments will be processed through direct deposit. Then the week of May 4th, the IRS is set to start sending paper checks. From what we understand, 5 million checks are going to be issued every week in order from lowest income earners to the highest income earners within the threshold. So they say they're going to start first sending checks to those who earn $10,000 or less, and then $20,000 to $10,000, and so on every week until all of the checks have been mailed. Now, when we do the math on that, it looks like that's going to take us all the way through September, but senior officials have said, no, that's ridiculous. We're not going to take that long to get this money to people, so we'll see if those timelines get adjusted. But right now, if you're getting a paper check, it may take a little bit of time before you actually have that in your hands. So the way that they're determining how they're paying people is according to the last tax return that you filed. Whether you owed money and had to make a payment or you were eligible for a refund, you had to provide some kind of way for the IRS to either pay you or you to pay the IRS. If you did that via a direct deposit or you got a bank deposit, gave them your account information, then that's what they're going to use, and they are going to issue this over direct deposit electronically. If you got a check in the mail or you had to send them a check, then you will get a paper check according to your last filing address. So there's a lot of questions here about logistics. What if you don't want it to go to that bank account? What if you don't have that bank account anymore? What if you've moved and you don't have an updated address with the IRS? Supposedly the IRS is ready to handle all of these situations at their website, irs.gov/coronavirus. So far, I have not seen a portal where you can update information and provide these things, but they have promised it's coming. So if that's you and you're concerned that you don't have the most up-to-date information on file to get this payment as fast as possible, stay tuned, and that's the site to check, irs.gov/coronavirus. Obviously, people have some questions about all this. Some things I think people should be aware of. I'm adding in my own questions for you to consider. This is one that is coming from me. What if I made over the threshold before, but expect to be under the threshold to get a payment for 2020 because of income loss? Do I get anything? So this is a situation where maybe somebody was a high earner, earning above, the threshold of $75,500 for an individual to get the full $1,200. Now maybe they've lost their jobs or have taken a serious hit, and technically, they're going to be under that number this year and they want the full payment. Right now, you're not going to get anything because they're basing it on 2019 and 2018 returns depending on what the most recent one on file for you is. But the silver lining is coming a little late maybe, but when you file in 2021 for this year, you would then get the credit. What if you made under the threshold before, but you expect to be over it this year because you're one of the lucky ones that maybe works in an industry that's very much in demand and your income is going up? So they're going to be checking your old returns. You're under this threshold, but next year you're going to be way over it when you file for 2020. Are you going to have to pay it back? The answer is no. The IRS is not going to take any money back that it sends from this, so you can keep it. Has this ever happened before? This is a question that I've seen widely talked about in the press and on social media. It's pretty unprecedented. There was a situation under the Bush administration where some Americans did get payments for a tax law change that went into effect during that time. But to really have a responsive, proactive credit that's going out in advance is a new situation and in response to a crisis. And so we're kind of in new territory. Will it happen again? This is a good question. The answer is right now there's nothing on the books that's saying it would, that is going to have future payments going out. However, it is being widely debated, and I think it's quite likely that there might be another package that comes through and provides some sort of similar payments like these, simply because for those who have lost income or are completely out of work, $1,200 is something that it doesn't get you very far, and I think a lot of people are referring to it as a Band-Aid on what is an open wound. So I think to keep things going economically, there probably will be more support for those that have lost income and are out of work. And we will be talking in a future series about all the unemployment tips, about all the expanded unemployment benefits that are available as well. So check that out, because that's another way that people are being helped who have lost income. Let's go to some pro tips. This is the fun part for me as the planner. What should you do with your check? I think a lot of people probably have an idea already of what's most needed, and obviously you know best what you need and what's good for your family. I'll share with you my 2 cents. I think groceries is a really good place to start. I know that it's difficult if you're living in under a lockdown situation, as I am, to get a really good stocked up pantry. So I think that's a great place to start, and it will make you feel better and also reduce the need to go outside and expose yourself. Next would be to pay bills, particularly those that might be overdue or are very essential for you and your family, but not if there's going to be relief for them. There are a lot of new initiatives to provide people with relief from their regular ongoing payments. And if you qualify for that and you have a specific payment that is under that umbrella of relief, then I think it's not worth paying if you have other things that you need to take care of right now. So tune in next week. That's the next edition. We're going to come up with all of the content that you need to know about payment relief and provide it to you. So you'll know about housing, utilities, loan payments, and we're going to even have a separate edition all about student loans. So check that out next before you use these funds to pay overdue bills. The next thing, if you have groceries covered, you've got your bills handled, or you qualify for relief for them, the next thing is to save. I've been preaching saving for emergencies for a very long time. Unfortunately, sometimes it takes for people to see the benefit of having savings for that, or a lot of people are stretched and have trouble saving up for it. Ideally, you'll hear 3 to 6 months of expenses. Having a cushion for an emergency fund would be the best. But hey, we're all doing what we can. So if you can save $500 and you haven't, didn't have anything saved before, that's a really good start. If you can save 1 month's rent, that would be amazing, right? So I think saving is a really important financial practice, and we're seeing just how far that goes in times like these. I want to thank you so much for joining and hanging in there through the whole video. I hope you got a lot of good information that will help you and your family. Check us out. I am, again, Kristen, your Reddig Certified Financial Planner, founder of Brooklyn Plans, and this content is sponsored by DailyPay. Tune in next time. We will be here every week in April, providing you with financial wellness tips for you and your family to navigate these uncertain times. So please check us out next week, and we'll see you then.